Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks. Today, we are talking Monday, January 6th. The Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm going to have 5 NBA player prop picks for you guys to lock in for tonight's NBA betting slate. All 5 are plus money bangers, of course, because that is how we do things here. We're coming off of an awesome day yesterday. I posted 3 plays both on Twitter and to my Dub Club. And a ladder play, we won all 3 and all 4 bets. All 3 mainline plays cashed. The ladder play cashed as well. We desperately needed a sweep, and we got it yesterday. So that brings our profit on the entire season. Not amazing. We're up 3.5 units. Obviously, I'm not super pleased with our profit of 3.5 units, but that is just how things go. Hopefully, we can turn things around. Hopefully, we can have an amazing night tonight. Again, I'm going to have 5 plays for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like the video, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, and we can get right into it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, which is what I've been doing with these videos moving forward. With these videos, let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So I have 5 plays. I'm just going to go in order of the games of which they are being played. So the first game, and I do have a bet in this one, I'm actually going with Scoot Henderson. I am taking him 4+ rebounds. Now, if you're just looking at it like this, you are not going to be that impressed. As you can see, he's only hit 4 rebounds in 12 of 27 games this year. But there are a couple reasons why I am on it. The most important one here, no Jerami Grant. Jerami Grant is out for this game, and DeAndre Ayton is a game-time decision. He's probably going to play. The most important thing here is Jerami Grant being out. He averages 32 minutes per game, so that's about 33 minutes that the Blazers need to fill. And look at Scoot's stats without Jerami Grant. You can see he's only cashed it in 2 of 4. And I should say, the 4+ rebounds, I got a plus 180 odds at FanDuel. There's going to be the very last picture at the end of the video is going to have a list of every play that I'm betting. So if you missed it when I'm talking, it's 4+ rebounds plus 180 at FanDuel. But anyways, as you can see here, cashing it in 2 of 4 games against without Jerami Grant isn't the most amazing thing in the world. But what is not the most amazing thing in the world, what is impressive are his rebound chances. 9 against the Pacers. Now, I don't really know what happened here. They're not listing anything for rebound chances. What we know is he had 0 rebounds, but I don't know what his rebound chances were. Just a glitch with NBA reporting. But then 11 and 8. Now, obviously, collecting 7 rebounds off of 8 rebound chances is not something that we can rely on game over game. But asking him to get half of his rebound chances, which is what he's done in 3 of the 4, that is a little bit more reasonable. Like a 50% conversion ratio from rebounds to potential rebounds. Again, that is a little bit more palatable than someone needing to get 7 off of 8. And then the other 2, 11 and 9. I mean, that's phenomenal. If he's getting 9, 11, 8 rebound chances, that's perfectly acceptable for him to get 4 actual rebounds, especially when you consider the juicy odds at plus 180. It's just an insane price. Another thing that I like, this is looking at Props Madness, which just groups everybody by their position and guys that are similar. As we can see, 11 of the last 15 players with a similar position rebound profile to Scoot Henderson have hit their rebound prop over. And this just shows the last 15, so it doesn't go any deeper than that. But as you can see, it's like some pretty similar guys that you would expect from Scoot Henderson. I mean, Suggs, Murray, Micic, Westbrook's probably a little bit different. Fox maybe a little bit different, but like Keontae George, Terry Rozier, all those guys rebound similarly to Scoot Henderson. And now we're getting an increase because, again, Jerami Grant is out of the lineup. Like if we look at games with Jerami Grant and without Jerami Grant, averaging 3.5 rebounds per game, which again isn't amazing in and of itself, but plus 180 odds is pretty amazing. And if we look with Jerami Grant, down to 2.9 rebounds per game, only gone over in 10 of 23. And his rebound chances, not nearly as impressive. I mean, like, I'm get that 10's pretty good, but 3, 11's pretty good, and then 3, 7, 6, 8. So that one's not bad. 4. You see, like, the majority of them are 8 or below, whereas with Jerami Grant, all higher than that. So play number 1 is Scoot Henderson, 4+ rebounds, plus 180 at FanDuel. The next one, I do have a bet in this 76ers Suns game. I'm going to go with Tyrese Maxey, 25+ points. You can get that at plus 110 odds at FanDuel. So unfortunately, I love Props Madness. Amazing website. You can't look at alt lines on Props Madness. You only see over 23.5, but I'm taking over 24.5. So a couple reasons why I like this play. A lot of it has to do with the matchup. If we go down to Props Madness, you can see the players' scoring profile and how teams guard that scoring profile. So for Tyrese Maxey, we see that he scores the majority of his points via the pick and roll ball handler. And the Suns, we see, allow the 5th most points per game, excuse me, to pick and roll ball handlers. So, you know, when Embiid's most likely going to be playing in this game, he's only hit it in 4 of 10 games with Embiid. So again, this is not really a hit rate type of thing. But another thing that you can do on Props Madness that I really like is you can filter by like how he has performed against teams based on different parameters. So if we look at bottom 10 teams in terms of guarding the pick and roll, he's literally hit it in 8 of 8 games. That's right. In every single game he has played this season against a team that is bottom 10 in terms of guarding the pick and roll ball handler, he scored 25 or more points. In a lot of them, he's actually scored 30. You see, he's averaged 30.8 points in those 8 games, which is insane. And if we look at games like specifically with Embiid, it's only 3, but he's cashed it in all 3. I mean, 10 of 22, not even a great shooting game against the Bulls, 25 plus points. 32 points against the Spurs, 33 points against the Celtics. So teams that struggle to guard the pick and roll, Tyrese Maxey has cooked. He's also done it in this exact matchup against the Suns earlier this year. He scored 32 points, took 22 shots, 14 three-pointers. I did look at his threes as well because he hit 6 in that game. And if we look at the same parameters, how they guard his playing type, more often than not, he does make 4 or more three-pointers, but as you can see, it's not nearly as good, right? Half the time, I should say, averaging about 4. So the value was way, way, way better on the points. So that's what I went with. Tyrese Maxey, 25 plus points as our second play of the video. I will admit, I really, really debated laddering him up to 30 because as you can see, if he's scoring 25, he scored 30 in 5 of 8 games, and he had done it in 2 of 3 of those games with Joel Embiid. One of them scoring exactly 25. So if you wanted to take 30 plus points, that's at plus 300 odds, also at FanDuel and at DraftKings. I decided to just stick with the 25 plus, but that is one of the ladder potential plays. There's 2 of them that I debated laddering, but decided not to. I don't have any plays in these 4 games. With the Magic game, just to be real quick to give you a lean, I looked at Cole Anthony points because it's a good matchup for him. The Knicks give up the most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers and the 10th most to be a transition. And as you can see, every single player with Cole Anthony's scoring profile have gone over against the Knicks. And I get that, like, you can't really look at this data because the Magic have so many missing guys. It's like, how many games he played without these guys? Only 1. And he scored 12 points, shooting 5 of 14. It's too high for this should be 15 plus for plus money. So that's why I ended up not going with that one. But anyways, I do have 3 bets in this Spurs versus Bulls game, which I know 3 bets in one game sounds crazy, but I liked all 3 of them. I didn't want to pick and choose which one that I liked, which one that I didn't like. So I just went with all 3. The first one is going to be Vooch, but we are taking his first quarter points. This is actually at 4.5. So it's not at the 6.5 number you see. It's at 4.5. I was able to get 4.5 at plus 100. I would still take it at minus 105. That's still a perfectly acceptable price. I don't always bet based off of hit rates, but 69%, A, is a very nice number. B is an insane number for something that's only minus 105 odds. Now, I get that obviously you can't just go based off hit rate. There's a ton of other things that factor. And yeah, maybe after this stretch, where he hit it in 8 straight games, he hasn't been quite as good. But even if we eliminate that hit streak, it's still 10 of 18 games. So we take out a stretch where he hit 8 straight. It still looks good, 10 of 18 games. And the reason why this is a play is because of the matchup. The top 2 plays in which Vooch scores, the Bulls are a bad defense. They allow the 6th most points per game to pick and roll men. They allow the 4th most, the Spurs, I think I said Bulls, the Spurs are bad defense. The 4th most points per game via post-ups. Those are the top 2 play types where Vooch scores. And then, spot ups, not nearly as good. Cuts, we don't have data. Transition average, free throws, not great, but then good. On the off chance he has a putback or something off of screen. As you can see, 4 of 6 players, similar to Vooch's scoring profile, have gone over their point prop. The only 2 that missed were Zubac in both games. For whatever reason, the other ones all went over. And one thing that I want to shout out, very important, Vooch. He scored 6 points in the first quarter against the Spurs the first time that these 2 teams played. And he scored 39 points overall. Now, I like going with the first quarter points for Vooch as opposed to the actual points. It's a little bit of a better hit rate. It goes from 21 of 34 games. It goes to, that's the incorrect data. It goes from 24 of 34, 70% of the time on the season. So it's a little bit cleaner data. A little bit more often than not, he goes over 4.5 in the first quarter. Big men like Vooch generally tend to start fast, so I like to go with the first quarter as opposed to the full game. But I think his full game is a look as well. If you're going to play it, you know me, play 20 plus for plus money. I just like the first quarter points better. So now we're going to head over to the other team, and I'm going to go with Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama. I took him 30 plus points. This is plus 140 odds at ESPN Bet. This is another play. The hit rate is not going to be favorable. Obviously, we see that he started slow. He missed it in a lot of the first games. If we take that out, 9 of 20 games still isn't as impressive. But when he hits, averaging almost 30 points per game in those 20 games. And we see some monster performances, 50, 42, 42. He's coming off of a bad game, which I like. I like to call this fade of recent results. Only shot 2 of 12 from deep, 7 of 19 from the field. But this is a matchup play. The Bulls give up the most points per game to the pick and roll man. That accounts for, that's the word I'm looking for, the most points for Wemby. And then they're below average, like transition, slightly below average. Free throws, they foul a decent amount. Spot up, slightly above average, but then post ups, the second most points per game via post ups. And as you can see, these similar stretch bigs to Victor Wembanyama have absolutely annihilated the Bulls. Cat just put up 44 against them. I was on this 2 days ago. Porzingis put up 22. The only one that missed was Miles Turner, and he still put up 15 on an over-under of 16.5. Like, that's not bad. And then it was Porzingis again put up 21. Cat again put up 46. Chet Holmgren, before he got hurt, put up 21 on an over-under of 18.5. Like, 5 of 6 is crazy. Centers in general have success against the Bulls, as you can see. Like Giannis put up 41 against them. Larry Nance Jr. went over. It's like, this is just looking at the center position, but centers have a lot of success. And if you just highlight over the matchup, you see a lot of green, which is why I really like this one. Defensive rank versus play type, the most points per game. Defensive rank versus shot zone, the 4th most points per game, which is the above the break 3. So the majority of Wemby's points come from the above the break 3. The Bulls are the 6th worst defense guarding that. But if you just kind of take a step back, they're 30th in points in the restricted area. They're 24th in points above the break. That makes up, 75% of Wemby's points come from either the restricted area or the above the break 3. So if you're telling me 75% of the points that Wemby scores, the Bulls are either the worst defense or the 6th worst defense, that's a good sign. They play at the 3rd fastest pace, which just means that teams are going to be running up and down the floor. So that just leads to general stat accumulation. So Wemby, 30 plus points as my 4th pick. And then the last one that I have is Chris Paul. I took him over 8.5 assists. So this is best offered on a FanDuel at plus 120. When I send it out to my Dub Club, I got it at plus 108. So that's the number that I'm tracking. But depending on when you're watching this, you can actually get plus 120. Unfortunately, Props Madness doesn't have FanDuel on their screen or on their odds page yet, but that's at plus 120 at FanDuel. This is another matchup play against the Bulls. The Bulls have allowed the 3rd most assists per game overall, but they've actually allowed the most assists per game specifically to point guards. Now, players similar to Chris Paul, as you can see, it's been hit or miss. 3 of 5 players have gone over. One of the ones that did go under was Chris Paul in this exact matchup. But his over-under was 9.5, and he had 9 assists. So if we take an over-under of 8.5, that would have been an over. And one thing that kind of did lead me to that liking this play is you highlight that Bulls game. It was a month ago, so it wasn't that long ago. He had 18 potential assists. So if we're asking him to get half of his assists turn in to actual assists, half of his potential assists turn in to actual assists, I'm totally good with that. Like, I'm perfectly fine with him getting 9 assists again. It has been a little bit of a rougher stretch recently for Chris Paul as it was at the beginning of the year, so he has slowed down a little bit. But when he's played these good matchup teams, he's had success. Like the Nuggets are generally a team you want to target, 11 assists. He only had 8 last game, but these back-to-back games are weird. 14 against the Timberwolves, who are actually a tough matchup with 22 potential assists. A couple games under. Nice fade of recent results on this one. But it's just a play on the matchup. Again, 9 assists on 18 potentials. Last time these two teams played a month ago is perfectly fine. And if you think about it, like, why are the Bulls such a good matchup for point guard assist props? Well, that directly correlates to why Wemby's such a good matchup. They give up the most points per game to pick and roll rollman. If you're running a pick and roll and the rollman is scoring, more often than not, that is an assisted play for the point guard. So point guards that run a lot of pick and rolls, they can have success with assists against the Bulls for that exact logic. And then other plays that you kind of think equate to assists, players running off screens, right? Like if a player is running off of a screen, that's a catch and shoot opportunity, that's an assisted play. They give up the 9th most points per game off of screen. Dribble handoffs. I mean, this is looking at Wemby points, but just in general, dribble handoffs also are an assisted play type, because you think you run a dribble handoff, whoever hands the ball off to the guy more often than not, assuming they take 2 or fewer dribbles, is getting an assist. They give up the 3rd most points per game to dribble handoff. So that's kind of why the Bulls are such a good matchup for point guard assist props, because of that exact logic. They give a lot of points to plays that lead to assists. So that's all we got. 5 bangers for you guys to lock in. We're going with Scoot Henderson, 4+ rebounds, +180 at FanDuel. Tyrese Maxey, 25+ points, +110 at FanDuel. Vooch over 4.5 first quarter points. I was able to get it at +100 at Caesars. I believe that's -105 now. Would still take it there. Victor Wembanyama, 30+ points, +140 at ESPN Bet. And Chris Paul over 8.5 assists, +108 odds is what I got. +120 is the best offered price now. So obviously take the best offered price. But that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the links in the description of the video if you want to support the channel. I have a link to the website I was just using, Props Madness. I have a link to my Dub Club. So if you want to check that out, it would help me out a ton to support the channel. But I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.